This section covers chapters 13 through 15 of the Hunger Games. Students will be able to summarize the main events of the selection, evaluate and explain character development, discuss the themes developed in the selection, and identify and describe symbols, as well as define key terms. Summary of events. Your keywords are summary of events, Katniss, Rue, your themes, and your symbols. The beginning of this selection, Katniss is running from the fire. She knows that the fire has to have been created by the game makers because it is so big, and so if she can run far enough and get close enough to another tribute, the game makers will turn the fire off. The smoke from the fire chokes Katniss and causes her to stop and vomit, at which point fireballs begin erupting past her. She starts running again, but is forced again to stop and retch, at which point in time a fireball hits her in the calf. She is able to put the fire out, but her hands and leg are badly burned. She finally manages to outrun the fire and collapses in a pool of water to soothe her burns, and loses track of time, even though she knows it's not safe to stay in one place now. She wakes to the sound of footsteps and is forced to run, ends up treed by the career pack, including Peeta. Cato, a large and violent boy, attempts to climb the tree to get her down. The branches break and he falls. A lighter girl named Glimmer also attempts to climb the tree, wielding the bow from the cornucopia. She is a bad shot and misses. Katniss retrieves the arrow and taunts them with it. The career pack, unable to reach Katniss, decides to wait her out, and Katniss is forced to spend the night in the tree. She prepares for bed and realizes that she's being watched by the girl from District 11, Rue. Rue points to something over her head, and Katniss recognizes a nest of tracker jackers, wasp-like insects mutated by the Capitol during the last war to track their victims. Anyone who disturbs their nests is tracked down by these wasps and poisoned with their venom, which causes extreme pain and hallucinations and even death. Katniss decides this is her best chance for escape, and during the anthem climbs up to saw the branch. The pain in her hands is immense, and she is unable to finish. She decides to finish first thing in the morning while the careers are sleeping, rather than alert them now. She does so, and is stung a few times in the process, but the career pack scatters, most of them running for the lake. One girl staggers off somewhere else, and Glimmer wanders around and collapses disoriented. Katniss makes a beeline for the pond from yesterday, but realizes that Glimmer still has the bow, and that if she can get it before Glimmer dies and is removed from the games, she will have changed her odds in the game. She runs back and obtains the bow mid-hallucination, and hears someone coming. Assuming it's one of the careers intent on killing her, she panics a bit, but is surprised when Peeta bursts through the woods and yells at her to run rather than attempt to kill her. Peeta is followed soon by Cato, and Katniss flees. She is now experiencing heavy hallucinations and collapses in a hole. When she wakes, she realizes it has been several days, and that she has the bow. Feeling much more confident, she finds herself a new source of water in a stream and does some hunting. While she's eating, she hears a twig snap and recognizes Rue from the night before. She invites Rue to be her ally, and they share a meal. Rue tells her of District 11 and informs her that the sunglasses she has in her backpack are actually night vision glasses. The two prepare for bed, and Rue tells Katniss of the current state of the career pack, that Peeta is no longer with them, that Peeta's declaration of love was sincere, and that the careers have a base camp by the lake with all the supplies from the cornucopia. Katniss begins to plan, knowing that if she can remove those supplies from the careers' possession, the careers will have less chance of winning the game, and her odds will continue to go up. We see Katniss become confident in this one. She gains confidence from the bow, knowing she can defend and hunt for herself as needed now. She also becomes more emotionally secure in obtaining Rue as an ally because Rue reminds her of Prim, and they are gaining strength from each other in that society. She also becomes an inadvertent rebel in this one. She's taunting the other career packs and is confident. She's starting to realize how the game makers strategize and what prompts theirs, much the same way she's understanding Haymitch's prompts. She also allies with Rue from District 11 and listens to Rue's stories, recognizing that District 11 is even more harsh than District 12, and that the capital is universally tyrannical towards its subjects. Gaining up with somebody from another district outside of the career pack, especially in discussing that other district situation, is something that's not heard of, nor is it something that the capital would really want. Rue is small but smart. She has hidden herself in the trees and staying out of the other tributes' paths. She's also survived on very little food. While she does have some of the same plant knowledge that Katniss does, she's not as good as providing for herself, but she is also used to dealing with immense hunger. She's additionally very young. She's the same age as Prim, and this makes her a stand-in for Katniss's younger sister, whom Katniss is willing to do anything to protect. In this section, we have suffering for entertainment. Katniss theorizes that the game maker started the fire because the audience was getting bored, that there hadn't been enough death. She also realizes that they will not let the fire kill her if she keeps running, because prolonging the suffering of her burns and her time in the game, and possibly her death at the hands of another tribute, would be more entertaining for her capital audience. We also see the importance of appearances. Despite the fact that Katniss is in immense amount of pain from her burns, in fact, she tells us that this would be more painful to her than anything else, she maintains the appearance of the stoic. She runs from the career pack, she fights from her life, she even turns and taunts them, knowing the audience will love the display of sportsmanship, for lack of a better phrase. An additional note on this one with the suffering of entertainment, for entertainment, the game makers chose fire to chase her back towards the others, and Katniss speculates this was because she was labeled the girl on fire, and the game makers found that ironic. We also see wealth versus poverty and the odds showing up again here, only they're starting to shift a little bit. The career packs are dependent on the supplies that they have by the lake. Katniss and Rue are not, and they realize that if they can eliminate those supplies, the odds will shift to their favors instead of the brute strength of the capital. You need to complete the Edmodo practice quiz and the discussion post, as well as read the next set of chapters, chapters 16 through 18.